Guys, it's Proto. We're here looking at my first place Code Geass deck profile, Action 2 variant. I've gone through lots of different variants of this deck, maybe about 12 or 13 just for Action 2. I think this deck list really focuses a lot on ratios and then when knowing when to pull back and knowing when to just be more passive. It's very tempo orientated, so it's very important when you drop everything and how you do it basically, because sometimes you'll feel like you'll be taking 3 or 4 damage and doing nothing and it feels really bad, but you'll be able to clear all their resources on the next following turn while keeping the upper hand and then just staying basically responding to all their threats. So definitely it's very important how you play this. I do think this is still not going to be the best deck in the format, of course, but I think this deck can do really well against a lot of decks like Sakamoto and like just a lot of decks that really go lower to the ground, and maybe like against counter aggro is like a good matchup, but also against a lot of the hard hitters. I played red Karabachi round 1, red Chainsaw Mountain round 2, yellow Eva round 3, and then against purple Songs round 4, the last round. So we have a pretty sweaty locals usually, and I think it was great. And I think there's some things that we could improve, but this is the deck list for the moment. So let's get into it. All right, so first off, we are playing 4 zeros. 0 is really good because we just need more names. The add to hand is really crucial actually, because we sometimes, if you don't have a 0, you can't use our special, we can't use our Gurren force block, and of course we need it for our Gawain raids as well, so you just need to play a certain amount. I think it's great for what it is, and it's unfortunate that we have a 0 in the 0 at your Gurrens as vanillas, and then just play the force blocks or pops later in the game. So a lot of times you don't need as much actually, because sometimes you are not ready in the Gurrens, so you're just using them as bodies. But 4 is still really good because the add, and it feels nice to always have security. Play 1 CC, double energy. I just like having another double energy, so this with the 3-2 energies and then our other double energies makes it so we have 10, so that feels really nice. We don't want to do too many because it has no trigger, it's only 1000 power, but I think 1 has been great. When we play 2 Asahina, active 2000 body. I think the 2000 body makes a big difference, and having active trigger is really nice. We wish we could play more. Sometimes I want to play more Collins, or less Collins and more Asahina, just because lower to the ground and the active is really nice. But I think for now 2 has been okay. Ratios of this definitely might change, could change. I'm not 100% sure. I'd like to play more, but space is so tight in this deck because of the action 2s. 1 Colin. We play 1 of this color trigger. We play 1 of it because we don't. And then we play 4 Colin. Not brick, because we want to have enough 0s and 1s. So this is one of the slots that I use to have a good number of 0 and 1s and feel comfortable in the early game. So just 1. And then we play 3 Urabe. Urabe is really good because 25, the 25 stat, no effect, but 25 stat is really good. And draw trigger comes up all the time, like literally has come up almost every game that I've played. Really nice. It could be something else. Could also be the 1-drop Lelouch that when it attacks draws a card and discards. It could also be that, but that Lelouch has no trigger. It's also only 2000. But this is 25 and has the trigger, so we go with that. But I wish I could play the other Lelouches because sometimes you do need names, but this is just a better card overall. So we are playing 3 at the moment, and then we play 3 CC. CC's fantastic. This is one of the best cards you could play. A lot of times you'll play this just as a 2 energy and draw card, just replace itself. That is just by itself really good, and especially when you use it, draw a card setting your back line, now you have a Gurren, a Gawain target lined up always. So this card is fantastic. One of the MVPs of this deck actually. And also when you get a color trigger, you can you can bring this back and draw a card with it. It's fantastic. And when you use your action 2s, when you have like the best, like the optimal turn 3, where you go double energy Colin, special for free, or 5-drop Lelouch for free, and then play the CC, draw 2. You replace literally everything, every card in that interaction you come up. That's one of the best plays. But even by itself, when you don't have the other cards with it, just play draw 1 is fantastic, and it still has a trigger. And normally cards like this don't have triggers, so we are definitely playing this card fantastic. And then we're playing 2 Lelouch, Lamp Rouge, 2-drop. The reason this one is great, negative 1000 and has a trigger. 25 stat is fantastic actually though, fantastic. Comes up a lot, 25 is very nice. But you can play this off a color trigger as well, save a life. because you can make something by 1,000. But this, in combination with other cards like the 5-dropper Gurren, is really nice to get rid of 4K. So we're playing 2 of that. It's just a good utility card. And then we're playing a 3 Ogi. Ogi is great because if you do this early game on the curve, you would go turn 1 0, you play 0, turn 2, you play another energy, and then you play this. Now you set it up. Now next turn you can move up a 0 and then play the call-in double energy. You have the offense defense, and it's very, very nice. I want to play 4, but space is so tight, so we'll see. We will see if I'm able to cut something for that. But at the moment, 3 has been alright. I'd like to play 4. 2 Lelouch Lamp Rouge. Some people may wonder why I'm not playing the call-in, because we need a certain amount of Lelouches to even play the game. So we play this over the call-in. The call-in also has no effect. This effect is a card can be blocked by 2Ks or less. I think this card actually comes up a lot. The fact that it's a Lelouch name, 3K, double energy, is fantastic, and that by itself sells it. I don't need anything else. But the additional when played effect actually has been coming up a lot, and actually will help me win my finals against Purple Song, because I was able to negate everything with Gawain, and I was able to put this on one of my lower call-ins, or Urabe, I believe, and basically make it so he can't block. So I was like, Gawain attack can't block, my other 1-drop attack can't block, and then impact. It was just too good. And there's been a couple times where being able to neg with cards like Gawain or 5-drop Lelouch makes it so they can't block and you just get through everything. And even if you do it just for 1 turn, sometimes it's still really good. So not 100% all the time coming up, but it's an amazing utility effect. So we really do like that. I would love to play more of that as well. I would love to play a lot more of these cards, but space is, again, very, very tight in this list. All right, and then we're playing 4 call-in 2-drop. Call-in 2-drop is going to be a 35. 35 is very important. It's good for defense. A lot of times when you stack multiples, you can move up later and have it as an actual body that's threatening. Of course, with Gawain, now it's basically able to push against any normal deck, because now they're usually around 3,000. So that's really good. But a lot of cards are at 3,000 as well, so you're able to get that free block, so it's fantastic. But of course, we are playing it because it's a call-in double energy, and when you play it, you draw a card, and the next card that's action 2 becomes 1 cheaper. So a lot of times this, with our special, you'll use just to zap, like, bother some guys and basically that pressure in early in the game. Or the best play is playing this and then playing the 5-drop Lelouch as a vanilla. Just basically playing it as a 1, using an effective restand. So now it's a free body that you're able to put on board, or depending on the matchup, you can neg 3,000, or of course stand itself. So it's really, really nice, and of course, this just functions perfectly with the rest of the deck. So for that, sometimes it can clog having too much action 2s, or this card at least, because we're not playing that many action 2s. But it's still like fantastic. So we're playing 4 of it. For Gawain is just fantastic in this deck. Of course, this, and especially in the middle game and sometimes in the late game, you're just able to just zap a bunch of little guys, or getting this off life is obviously fantastic and amazing. But a lot of times be able to stack this with a Gurren or a 5-drop, clear bodies that you need to get rid of, or just being able to not being able to block with little guys a lot of times in the late game, and especially with the double energy 3-drop Lelouch is really, really good. So can't say enough great things about it. Really great card. And then we're playing 2 Force Block Gurren. This is one of the cards you need Lelouch names for. This is a special, of course. This is great. You don't need this all the time, and sometimes you'll just play this as a vanilla, and that's perfectly fine. But having so much impact relatively available in this deck, and being a force block, because there's sometimes you go special, kill one of the 4Ks, maybe Gawain and neg one of the little guys, and then force block the other 4K. It's you can kind of play it sometimes where you have to force block 4Ks, and it feels really nice, basically. But it's just great utility. And then 4 Gurrens. This card is fantastic. The reason we're playing this, of course, is going to be impact, but being able to play this in just neg 3K, especially in the current meta, it's been really, really good, and I'd say it's one of my favorites. So basically being able to play it off life for free and kill at 3K in certain matchups is freaking fantastic, and of course getting a free action point basically. But a lot of times stacking this with the 2-drop Lelouch, 5-drop Lelouch, or any of our other negs like Gawain is fantastic. And a lot of times, honestly, you can just blast entire small boards, and even if like have 1-4K and you got rid of other guys, it's perfectly fine, because the 1-4K is just like a numbers game. Basically, they're gonna run out of they don't have enough really to refill everything while you're pushing in pressure, so it ends up going to your side. So, and of course, being able to raid off life is one of the biggest pluses with this in the Gawain. And then when playing 3 Lelouch Action 2 is fantastic and probably the heart of this deck. A lot of times in the early game, you want to play this instead of playing a Gurren. You don't want to raid if you can help it, because once you start raiding, you start losing your energy and your bodies, and it becomes hard to play other cards. That's why a lot of times we are playing our Gurrens as just vanillas, because we're playing like a tempo resource game. So we're clearing a lot of little guys, stacking up our 4Ks, and then just basically making it so we're just a big force that they can't deal with all the negging and all our bodies at the same time, and most decks can't. Of course, there's matchups where we don't see like a double energy right when we need it, because not seeing a double energy on your curve is going to be really detrimental. So that's why we're playing 9. Would love to play more, but again, space is so tight. But yeah, if you can see double energy on curve and see Lelouch on curve, then you feel really good. And cards like this, playing them on a curve are fantastic, either with the call in Action 2, or a lot of times in the later game, you literally just play this as an Action 2, and you can restand, so it's just a vanilla 4K, like you will sometimes play with the Gurrens, or you can still play for 2 and then nag a 3K and have it played in the back row, and then push it up next turn, or literally just play it active for 2. And that's, honestly, some games that's perfectly fine. Sometimes you'll have a lot of energy, you'll just play for 2 straight up, put it in active, and then raid a Gurren, kill a 3K, and then just push in like that, and it's perfectly fine without losing too much energy. But the fact is, you just don't want to lose too much energy, and you want to be really resourceful about when you're pushing in, because if you push in too hard too early, you just gas out. And this is one of the best cards to help you not gas out, even though it's an Action 2. Basically, you can think about it as like a pseudo raid where you don't lose energy, and that's fantastic. And of course, if you play it off the 3-2 call in, which is what you want to do, and you pitch another one of it, or a special, you can restand and pop, and you get multiple effects, and it costs 1, and in that case, it's just fantastic. So this card is great. This card is great. It does everything you want to do, and it's one of the best early games cards that we have in this deck, and in the late game really helps you close with negging and just being more aggressive. For United States and Japan, just because, of course, we're playing an Action 2 deck, so the restand is ridiculously important. And the last card is we are playing Power of Absolute Obedience, just our special, and of course it's a 4-2 special, so this works with everything. You can play this for free with the 3-2 call-in, and then of course our 5-drop. Alright, guys, that is the list. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. I really love this deck, and I've been building all the different variants for so long now, and I think this is feeling the most cohesive, but we'll continue to improve it. But yeah, thank you guys. Later.